In this video, we're going to look at how to add a person to SWIMS, so creating their profile. We're going to click on the People tab, and surprise, we're going to click on Find. It's important to make sure that the person that you're going to enter is not already in SWIMS, because having duplicate records for the same person can cause some confusion with the database at some point. So I'm going to look up the name Ziegler, pretending that I've got a new person with the last name Ziegler to add. And that gives me 4 results. Now my person's name is James, and he doesn't work for DNR, the Nature Conservancy. He's not at Horn Lake, so I'm probably good to go. But this particular example gives you an idea of what can happen. So in this case, if you look at Jerry Ziegler and Gerald Ziegler, you'll see they both are listed as working for the Nature Conservancy. And that's because this actually was a duplicate that was caused either by the person who created Gerald's profile, the second one, didn't realize that Jerry was a nickname, or they didn't check first to make sure that the person wasn't already in SWIMS. So I'm going to just go ahead and go back now and make it easier and go to the DNR logo. Click on People again, and now we're going to look at how to actually start a new profile. Notice that the status of the person is already listed as active. You have some other choices. Inactive is actually the only other choice, but this person is brand new. They're going to be active. You're going to start on the left side of the screen and very straightforward, put in the last name, the first name. If it's a very common name and you have a middle initial or name, you may want to add that. The SWIMS user guide recommends that you use the organization and salutation line 2. Some people do that, some don't. One of the things that I always do is put in a title. What is the person's role? Are they a boat inspector? Are they a volunteer for Snapshot Day? Are they a volunteer for a particular organization? The organization name could just follow. And of course, they might be AIS staff. So pick an appropriate title, add that, add the organization name, add their primary email. Generally, we don't use a secondary email. And then I always like to add the date that the profile is being created and put in a line about why. So perhaps it would be someone added in July 7th, 2024. And I note this profile is being created because they are volunteering for Snapshot Day 2024. And then those notes can always be added if people have future jobs or volunteering experiences. It's a nice way to capture the history. If the person that you're adding is going to be entering data into SWIMS, or they simply need to get into SWIMS to view information, then of course they need to have a WAMS user ID. If you are simply putting in a very basic profile just so that you've got their name in there to associate them with some field work, but they are never going to go into SWIMS themselves, then you do not have to have the WAMS user ID. For those who do, if you have it at the time you create the profile, then go ahead and add it now. If not, you can always edit their profile later and put it in. Then as appropriate, put in the addresses and phone numbers, and then we'll come down to projects. Now, when you are adding a new person, it is probably because they are going to be associated with at least one project. So let's say this is for last year, and it was for Snapshot Day. And I would go in, I'd click Search Project, I get this window. I'm just going to pick Snapshot and click Search. We should always try to keep your queries as simple as possible so you don't accidentally prevent you from getting a good answer. And I would scroll down, and here's Snapshot Day 2023, and I would just click on it, the black arrow. Let's see, is 2024 created yet? No, not yet. So in 2023, I would click on the arrow. Now, any of you that's going to enter your snapshot day volunteers for 2024, and in the future, you would have to wait until the project is set up in SWIMS before you could add it. So you probably have to leave them with no projects and edit it later, which is another easy thing to do. The other thing we need to do for everyone is to give them a role. So if they're not going to use SWIMS themselves, don't worry about this part. You can skip it and just go ahead and go to the upper part and click create, as you'll see in a minute. But let's say it's one of your staff in the LMPN. You're going to click on application and role categories, and then in the available roles, scroll through and find external power edit. Everyone gets external power edit. Click on that and click add, and that's all they need. Now, a difference you'll see if you're the primary AS coordinator for a county in the LMPN is that you will also have project coordinator. So project coordinator is the role in SWIMS that allows you to be able to create people's profiles and edit them. Everyone can edit their own profile, but only certain permissions, such as project coordinator, can actually do the editing or adding new profiles. So if you did put something in by mistake, you would just highlight it and click remove, and it would bounce back into the available roles. Normally, we don't do anything for communication and training, so I'm going to scroll back to the top, and if I had actually filled all this out, my last step would be simply to click create. And once that's done, you would see their profile pop up. So I'm just going to use mine as an example. This is what you should see. You'll have all their information that you added on the left side is going to show up at the top of the screen. Then all that information on the right side of the screen is going to be linked to in this green bar about 2/3 of the way down. So address, phone number, the projects that they're involved in, and their roles. And that's all there is to it. So if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to the SWIMS staff or your regional biologist or one of the program staff that can help you.